All right, Mr. Woodruff back with you, and I'm going to show you now how to adjust the side frame to make it fit with the mousetrap base. And actually, we're going to change the mousetrap base. Let me show you why here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fit this side frame onto the mousetrap base, but you can see that this tab is way too big. In fact, this tab is 3 inches long, where this slot is only 2 inches long. So if I try to put these together, you can see that the slot is way too big, or sorry, the tab is way too big for the slot. So I have two choices here. I could either make the slot in the side frame bigger, or I could make the tab on the mousetrap base smaller. I'm going to do the latter. I'm going to make the tab on the mousetrap base a little bit smaller. So what we're going to use is we're going to use what's called the feature tree over here on the left-hand side of SolidWorks. And so I don't know why that won't go away here. There we go. Okay, so over here on the left-hand side, we can see that we have two parts. If I click on the mousetrap car base, see how the mousetrap car base turns blue? And if I click on side frame, the side frame turns blue. So we can see which part we're dealing with in the feature tree just by clicking on the different titles, right? And so what I want to do is I want to change the size of this tab here on the mousetrap car base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the little arrow next to mousetrap car base, and this is going to open up the file menu or the feature tree to show me how this part was made. And down here, I have a boss extrude 1, boss extrude 2, and a mirror. And if I click on the individual labels, it'll show me what was done. So if I click on boss extrude 1, and I'm going to hold down the center scroll button so I can turn this down. Okay, so boss extrude 1 looks like it's the whole base. So let me click the little arrow next to boss extrude 1 and then click on sketch 1. And what this shows me is that this part was made by making this rectangle right here, but it didn't make the tabs. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to boss extrude 2, and you can see that this little tab is lighting up in blue. So this tab was created with the boss extrude 2 right here in the feature tree. And if I click on mirror, you can see that what was mirrored was this tab on the right was mirrored over on the left-hand side of the base to create the two tabs. So what I want to do is if I change the size of one tab, because they were mirrored, I'm going to change the size of both tabs. So over here under boss extrude 2, I'm going to click the little arrow next to boss extrude 2, and then I'm going to click on sketch 2, and then I'm going to come up into this little menu that pops up and click edit sketch. Now this is going to make me save the assembly, but this is a good place to save my assembly. So I'm going to click save and continue, and I want to rebuild and save the document, right? And now I want to name this in a way that I'm going to be able to find it later. So I'm going to call this mousetrap car 1, all right? And this is going to be a SolidWorks assembly. You want to get in the habit of changing the file name. Otherwise, you're just going to have part 1 or assembly 1 or assembly 2 or 3 or 4. And it's really hard to find later. So I change the name of it, make sure I'm saving it in the right place again. Student read write drive, Mr. Woodruff, period 2, Mr. Woodruff, that's my name. It should say your name, and then mousetrap cars, and I'm going to hit save. Okay, so now I've saved this. It's going to take a second to save. And now it's going to allow me to change this tab here, okay? And so I'm just going to try to move this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and then back in. I'm going to hit the space bar, and you don't have to do this, but I'm going to click right on the front. Oh, no, wrong one. I'm going to click on the top here. So I'm looking right down on this at a fixed angle, looking straight down. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change the size of this tab from 3 inches to 2 inches. So I just double clicked on the 3, and I'm going to change this to 2 and hit enter. And now it changes it to 2 inches. But look what it did. It scrunched it to the right. All right. So now, my tab is it's not centered at all. So what I'd like to do is I can see that it's positioned here with this smart dimension of 0.5 of an inch. I'm going to double click on that 0.5 of an inch and change that to 1 inch. Okay. And now this should move my tab, and it did. It moved it back more towards the center. Right, and so now I'm just going to come up here to the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and I'm going to click this exit, not the X, the red X, but this blue window with the arrow. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click exit editing the assembly. right? Then I want to rebuild the assembly really quick. So up here, there's a red light and green light. I'm going to click that. That stands for rebuild. And then I'm going to save my assembly here. And I'm going to click save all. And what I'm really doing is I'm saving the individual parts in that file folder on the shared drive. So as I change parts and hit save, it's going to be saved not only in the assembly, but also as a part in that folder, which can come in really handy as you'll see in the next video. Okay, so now I've changed the size of this slot, or I'm sorry, this is the tab. I've changed the size of the tab. And now if I put the side frame up here, let's try to go at a isometric view. I need to move it down a little bit. This should fit right on the slot. Okay, the tab should fit into the slot. I don't know why I can't say that. So if I look here, that's just the right size, okay? But it's just hanging out there in space and I can move this around. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to fix the side, what do I call this? Sorry, the side frame to the mousetrap car frame. So I'll show that in the next video.